Hi everyone, welcome back. I'm Di, and today I'm sharing with you my diary entry for the week of December 1st to the 7th. Today is Saturday, December 7th. So, it's been quite a long day for me already. And we had to film for our gaming channel today. And so I didn't have a lot of time to do other things. The filming for the gaming channel took a really long time today because we were villager hunting. And so while that is always fun, it took more time than I would normally take to film stuff. So this week I had to cut back a video, which is fine. And so I'm coming to you today kind of late. It's already 6 o'clock in the evening. And so, yeah, I definitely wanted to wrap up the volumes of manga that I've read this week for my manga advent calendar project. I want to show you where I am with my advent knitting project as well, and just share with you the things that I did this week during my vacation. So let's get into it. I have read 4 volumes of manga this week. I am behind on my manga advent calendar project because I should have read at least 6 volumes by today. But being that I only read 4, I am going to have a bit to catch up. Now, I'm not going to really let that bother me too much because this coming week, the week after, or the week that you are watching this video, or this video will be published, I am going to have to put my manga advent calendar project aside to read the Monochrome Manga Club selections. So I am going to be delayed. I am still going to strive to read all of the volumes during the month of December, but the volumes may spill over into January. So I'm not too concerned about the fact that I am behind already. I normally am not, but I am on vacation. So that normally also means that I don't read a lot. And so, yeah, I've only read 4 out of the 7 volumes so far, but that's okay. So I'm going to talk to you about the volumes in the order that I read them. So we'll start off with volumes 2 and 3 of Obey Me by Subaru Nito. This has original work by NTT Somare, published by 7 Seas Rated Teen. So this is a story or a manga that's based on a mobile game. And in the story, it starts off where this character ends up being an exchange student to the Royal Academy of Diavolo, or RAD for short. And so the Royal Academy of Diavolo takes a human exchange student and like a celestial exchange student to strengthen the bonds between the realms. And so the character that you meet as the human exchange student comes to be known as Ibuki. And it's that way because the human exchange student has no memories when they arrive at the academy. So they don't know who they are, why they're there, what happened in their life before they arrived at RAD. And so in trying to figure all of that out and also be protected, Ibuki's job becomes to make pacts with the 7 demon rulers of the academy to protect them from the other demons. And so in the manga, Ibuki is a sheep. So you don't really know much of anything else. Arrives at the academy and is immediately introduced to the 7 brothers and is put into their protection. And so immediately starts to try to form pacts with these demon brothers. So we read the first volume for the Monochrome Manga Club and I enjoyed it a lot. It was rather hilarious. There is an anime adaptation, which I have watched a couple episodes of, but it's very different from what is presented here in the manga. And so I had fully expected that volumes 2 and 3 in the series to continue with that kind of, hilarity, a little bit comedic, some hijinks and stuff. But these two volumes, which are the final volumes in this trilogy, they get more and more serious as we get towards the end. So you kind of really leave all of the comedic stuff in volume 1 and dive into more serious things in volumes 2 and 3. And because the kind of hijinks and hilarity ended, for the most part, in the first volume, the story kind of lost its charm a little bit for me. I don't know. I enjoyed the story. Overall, I enjoyed the story. But volume 1 gives a very different feel to volumes 2 and 3. And while I read volume 1 several months ago, I think, and now I read volumes 2 and 3 back to back, I don't think that that's the issue. I think that they definitely have a different feel from each other. So, yeah. Not what I expected going into volumes 2 and 3. I still really enjoyed the story. It definitely gives you some answers as to who Ibuki is and introduces you to each brother and what their likes are and the things that they enjoy and things like that. And Ibuki trying to, learn more about each brother, not just making the pact with them, but learning about them, trying to help them in what they are striving to do. And it was a really, really sweet story in the end. I'm not sure that the way that it started served to give the tone of the story throughout. I think I would have preferred if we had more hijinks and hilarity throughout the 3 volumes. Not necessarily so much as in volume 1, but more. Like, I really don't feel like these last 2 volumes had any. But I feel like if we had continued some of that comedicness throughout the 3 volumes, it would have given a much lighter, happier feel. And this kind of got more and more serious, like I said, towards the end. So I ended up giving these 2 volumes 3.5 stars each. I believe I gave volume 1 4 stars. Overall, I definitely would reread this trilogy again. And I would be interested to see what my thoughts are when I read the trilogy back to back to back, to see if that changes my thoughts on the story as a whole. Because I would reread the whole thing again, I would have to say that this is probably a 4-star read overall for me, even though the math doesn't work with the ratings, because 4 stars means that I would reread that title. And so I enjoyed the series. Like I said, I enjoyed learning about all the brothers, and I enjoyed the art style too. And so, yeah, I just wish it was more comedic throughout the last 2 volumes. I was really kind of shocked too that this was only a trilogy. I fully expected there to be more, and I understand why there isn't any more, and I do feel like we got a good end to the trilogy in the final volume. So I think that's pretty much all I'm going to say on that series. So I'm glad to have finished another series with that, and good job to Daughter for picking out those volumes for me to start my manga advent calendar project with. So the next one I read was volume 1 of My Love Story with Yamada-kun at level 999. This one is by Mashiro, published by Inklore Books, and this is rated 14 plus or teen. So this story is about a woman who, at the very beginning of this volume, gets dumped by her boyfriend. They were really into playing this MMORPG called Forest of Savior, I think. Yes, Forest of Savior, or FOSS. And he got her into it, and so that's kind of one of the things that they did together, was a game in this world together. And it just so happens that her boyfriend ended up dumping her for another person that he had met in the game. And so there's kind of a bad taste now. She's not sure that she wants to play this game anymore, but she decides to log in and finds that battling all the monsters is very therapeutic for her post breakup mind. And so she continues to play and finds out that there is like this IRL festival for players of this game where you can like get free stuff and things like that. And she thinks that this is some place that her ex would be at, and she wants to show him what he is missing out on. And so she decides to go and ends up meeting Yamada, who is this guy on the cover. He's a pretty famous, I guess, gamer. And they end up having a run-in with each other. And she recognizes him because he is part of the guild that she's a part of in Force of Savior. And they've had some not happy interactions with each other online. And so it kind of sets them off on the wrong foot. But then she and him end up starting to get to know each other a bit better, and that's kind of where this story leads. I've already watched the anime adaptation of the story. I really, really enjoyed it. It is kind of an age gap, a little bit. She's in college, he's in high school, but there's only a 2-year age difference, I think, between them. And so, yeah, it's an interesting story. Definitely, as someone who plays fighting games and things, like I play Genshin Impact, and not socially. I don't do any of that chat stuff, but I will once in a while play with my daughter. It really was interesting to watch, like, how she really like gets into the game, and you know, the kind of relationship she makes with not only Yamada-kun but other people from her guild. And I enjoyed this story a lot in its anime version, and I'm looking forward to reading the rest of the source material. So really, really happy to have this in my collection now. I enjoyed this one a lot. I gave it 4 stars. And so, yes, we'll definitely be continuing with that series. And then the last volume I read was volume 3 of 365 Days to the Wedding, story and art by Tamaki Wakiki. This one's published by 7 Seas Rated Teen. So this is a story about our 2 characters here on the cover who end up getting into a fake engagement because the travel agency wants to open a branch in Siberia, and specifically is looking for unattached employees, unmarried employees to be specific, to head up that agency, and neither one of these people wants to be considered as a candidate, so they think up being engaged to each other as a ruse to help save them from being nominated to open up that branch. So I'm really enjoying the story. Again, I've watched the live action adaptation called Map to the Wedding, which was on Amazon Prime. Really enjoyed that. I'm curious to see if the story in the live action is going to mirror exactly what happens in the manga. So far, it does mirror very, very closely. Also, there is an anime adaptation now. I have started watching it, and that also mirrors the series or the manga closely as well. So very, very happy with that. I'm looking forward to continuing with this one. I ended up giving this volume 4 stars. Really enjoying it, and I'm looking forward to continuing. So far, pretty good on the volumes of manga that I have read. I have 2 volumes of Dinosaur Sanctuary up next, which I'm really, really looking forward to. Those volumes end up taking me a little bit longer to read because there's a lot of information in them about the dinosaurs, and there's also like full page or even sometimes couple page like essays in there with information on the dinosaurs, why the dinosaurs were drawn certain ways, little tidbits of information on research that had been done on the dinosaurs, and like herding mentality and things like that. Is really, really interesting stuff, but because there's so much information, it does take me a little bit longer to read. So I'm planning on reading volume 5, I think, of Dinosaur Sanctuary this evening. And so hopefully I won't get too off track, but like I said, in the coming week, I am going to put aside my manga advent calendar volumes for my Monochrome Manga Club volumes, because I definitely need to read those in order to be able to discuss them with my members the following week. So off to a good start, I would say, even though I am behind on my manga advent calendar project. And so that's pretty much everything that I've read this week. I have not touched anything else. I have not continued with A Sleigh Ride Together with You by Vicky Delaney. I do plan on continuing that one when I go back to work on Monday. So yeah, I think that is everything that I need to talk to you about in regards to what I've read. So that brings us to another Yarnie update. Okay, Yarnie update. I've got my super holographic rainbow bag here. And in this bag is my yarn advent calendar project. I am using my My Little Pony, a very minty Christmas advent calendar, which was from a previous year. And so I've got all of the colorway names on the little insert there. But I am happy to say that I am up to date on this project. So because there's not a lot of fabric, it's going to be a little bit difficult to show you, but this is where I am at so far. So this is the Paul Klee sweater by Midori Hirose, and I am working the days as they have come up from the calendar. So days 1 and 2 in this row, days 3 and 4, 5 and 6, 7 and 8. Yes. It's a little bit kind of watercolory, just because of the way that the skeins are, but I am very, very happy with how this is looking so far. And so, yeah, I'm actually a little bit ahead because this is 7 and 8, and we are only on day 7. But I'm really, really enjoying this. I did not gauge swatch, like I said. There are a little bit of short rows in the back here. And I did check my gauge here, and I am on gauge. But I don't know how true that's going to be, because I was purling in this section to do the short rows, and I won't be purling for the rest of the body. But really, really happy with how this is looking so far. It's even better than I thought it was going to look. I'm really enjoying how the like the boxes are not really visible. It's kind of giving more of a watercolor effect. And I know that with some of the skeins coming up, especially like ones like this hot pink one, it's really makes it a lot easier to see the distinction in the boxes, but I think that gives a nice kind of effect. And I'm really, really enjoying the skeins. And because these rows take so little yarn, I have tons of leftovers. Now, as we are getting down the yoke, I am increasing. So I'm using more and more yarn with each row, or not row, but section of boxes. But I'm still going to have a ton of leftovers. So I'll need to think of something to do with that. But very, very happy with this so far. I am doing a size 3XL, which will give me 6 inches of positive ease on this sweater. And so that's kind of why I wasn't too concerned about doing a gauge swatch, because If it is smaller, then I'll just have less ease, which is fine. 6 inches of positive ease is a lot for me in my normal, like, everyday wear. But I'm really, really happy with this. And I think this gray Knit Picks Stroll Effects looks really, really good with the yokes. And so, yeah, that's where I am with that. So I have already pre-wound all of my yarn for the next week. And so I'm really looking forward to getting into that. There is one color in here that's kind of questionable. It's not really pastel-y. So I'm not really sure, like, how it will look in my yoke. But let me see if I can find it. I think it's this one. It's day 10. And so it kind of looks like this. Now on camera, it doesn't look too bad. But like, to my eye right now, it looks really like toned down, muted, kind of real like fall. Whereas everything else that I've done in my yoke so far is kind of more peppy and pastel-like. So I'm really curious to see what I think when I end up putting this in. I don't think that I would take it out. I don't know that it will look that bad. I'm kind of hoping that this will just be real nice. The color that will go with that is this one, day 9. And it's kind of like a icy blue color, but it has all of those, like, the variegation in it is the variegation of the skein that will be going next to it. So it'll be these two together. And see, I don't think that looks too bad next to each other. So I'm kind of really hoping that this row doesn't stick out too much. But I'm very happy so far with how the sweater is looking. The instructions are easy, but I will say that I am glad that I am looking at the pattern digitally, because there's a lot of going back and forth between the sizes, especially as you get to like the bigger sizes. Like I said, I'm working with 3XL. There's instruction there which says do rows 1 through 7 of kids size 1. So you have to go back and look at the kids instruction to follow those. Even when I was doing the short rows, there was something about working several rows from one size, and then for the next couple rows you had to look at a different size, and then for the next couple rows you had to look at a different size. And so it was a little bit confusing during that, but I think I've got it down now. If I was a little bit more prepared, I probably would have gone through and just rewritten the pattern myself, and so that I wouldn't have to go back and forth between the sizes. But it's not too bad. It's not too bad at all, especially because I am doing it digitally, so it's not like I'm having to change the page, you know, print all of the pages and then make sure that I flip to the right page at the right time and things. And so, yeah, very, very happy so far. I think the gauge is okay. I was a little bit concerned it was going to be kind of too airy, but it doesn't look too bad, actually. It does say in the pattern that the color work section is probably a little bit more airy than you're used to. So I think I'm on the right track with this. And so, yes, very, very happy with how this looks so far. I'm really excited to see what this week's colors being added into the yoke will look like. And so, yeah, very, very happy with this project so far, and I'm looking forward to continuing. And so that's pretty much everything that I have read and worked on this week. I have been watching some Christmas movies, which is something that I don't normally take time to do during December every year, but it's something that I always want to do. So I'm making it happen this year. We've watched a few Christmas movies. We watched Christmas in Vienna, which is about a woman who plays the violin, and she gets invited to perform in Vienna, and she's kind of fallen out of love with playing. And it's a story about her kind of reuniting with her college roommate and then finding love, not only in her personal life, but also re-falling in love with playing the violin. And I ended up watching that one because I was watching the Bakery Bears podcast, and they were talking about this film, and I've never watched it. I've never even heard of it. And Dan Jones, he really loves this movie, and he said that every year he watches it, and it ends up that this year when he went to go watch it, it wasn't available anywhere, so he ended up purchasing a DVD. And I thought, if Dan enjoys it, I should check it out. And Dan's a musician as well, and I was really concerned about it because, as a musician, it kind of gets really obvious when actors don't take the time to make their, how should I say this, performance of playing the instruments look realistic. But this one, I think, was done very well because most of the shots of our main character playing is from the back, and I think an actual a body double who can actually play was playing. And so it wasn't bad at all. I enjoyed it. And so that kind of got us on a foot of watching other Christmas films. We ended up watching A Scottish Christmas, or Merry Scottish Christmas, I think, because it was on the disc that Dan ended up buying. It had 3 films that not only had Christmas in Vienna, but A Scottish Christmas was also on there. And so I thought, I'll just watch that one too. That one is about 2 siblings who have been estranged from each other, reuniting in Scotland amongst the kind of reveal of a family secret. I enjoyed that one a lot too. And it's Lacey Chabert and Scott Wolf, who were in Party of 5 together as siblings. And so that was really nice. I enjoyed that one a lot. After that, we watched Christmas at Notting Hill, or in Notting Hill, which is about a woman who ends up going to the UK to visit her sister, who is working at a British museum. And while she's there, she ends up running into a guy. But this guy, she doesn't know that he's a professional soccer player, or they call it football. And so they're kind of like getting to know each other, and he's like has this big secret that she doesn't know that he's famous. And so it kind of follows their relationship, as well as what's going on with her sister and, their family traditions and things, trying to hold on to that with not only her and her sister's lives kind of going in different directions, but also, their father and keeping the memory of their mother alive and things like that. I enjoyed that one as well. And I think the last one we just watched last night, it was called Haul Out the Holly. It was also Lacey Chabert. It's about a girl or a woman who, when she was growing up, she lived on this street called Evergreen Lane, and her parents were like really into Christmas, and they were like the head of the like homeowners association, so that they could make sure that everybody on the lane decorated and was festive and in the season and things. And she just remembers, not too fondly the holidays. And now she's grown up, and she ends up breaking up with her boyfriend. She ends up dumping him. Let me be clear about that. And needs a place to stay. And so she ends up going home for the holidays. And there's kind of a plot twist when she goes home, because her parents are not going to be home for the holidays this year. They've decided to go to Florida. And so with her being in the home on Evergreen Lane, and, the whole like town kind of relying on her family to keep the traditions alive, and her not kind of wanting to put up with all the fuss and the muss of the holidays and wanting to just relax. It's about her kind of rediscovering her love of Christmas and the town that she lived in. And so I really enjoyed that one too. I will say that it took a while for me to get into that one, because the beginning of that movie, or I would say maybe 2/3 of it, is kind of irritating. It is kind of really irritating. But the last third, I would say, is really heartwarming, very festive. And it turns out that there's a sequel. And so we're going to watch the sequel tonight, I think. Really enjoying watching the Christmas films. I'm really, really enjoying it. It's really kind of helping my... I'm going to use the word depression. Just because I mentioned to you before that I'm usually off for 2 weeks around this time of the year. And this year, because my boss has told me I can only be off 1 week, unless I'm traveling somewhere, I was only to take 1 week this year. I am not really feeling great mentally. In fact, the whole reason why I take 2 weeks off is because the first week I take off, I'm still like thinking about work. And it's the second week where I really like am able to relax and like, get into being on vacation. And I've really kind of felt it this year. Like, I'm not sleeping well, where I should be sleeping well during vacation, because I'm not having to work. But I have not been sleeping well. I get up multiple times in the evening or in the morning, and I don't know why. And I'm thinking about work a lot and the things that I need to do when I get back to the office on Monday, and all of the things that need to be done for the rest of the month leading up to the new year. And it's just really bringing me down, and watching these Christmas films is really helping to perk up my mood, I think. And I think it's something that I'm really needing this year. And so, yeah. I'm glad that I'm able to like finally put into practice something that I've been wanting to do for the last several years. We used to watch Christmas films all the time, and then for some reason it just stopped. Like, I don't know, like even during like Halloween, I've had that problem where, you want to watch Halloween type films, and or I should say spoopy films for me, because I can't watch really scary ones, but just don't make the time to do it and then regret it afterwards. And so I'm glad that I'm not doing that this year, because I won't regret not making the time to watch Christmas films and get into the festive spirit. And so, yeah, I think that's pretty much all I have to share with you this week. It's been relaxing, but still not as relaxing as I would have liked it to be. I am caught up pretty much with watching Vlogmases, which is great. Normally, I'm very, very behind on watching Vlogmases from all of the Yarnie creators. I think some of it might be that I have kind of scaled back the people that I watch, and some of the people that I do watch are not doing Vlogmas this year. And so it's kind of a combination of both. But I'm really enjoying watching everybody's Vlogmases, all of their yarn advent calendars, their projects that they're working on this month is just all helping that festive feel. And again, I am opening my yarn advent calendar this year in shorts. So not the one that I'm working on, my Paul Klee sweater, but the one that I had purchased for this year. So if you haven't seen those shorts, definitely check them out. It's a Muppet Christmas Carol inspired yarn advent calendar from the Corner of Craft. And I will say that I've been really, really enjoying the lines from the film that she has pulled out to inspire her colors for the skeins. Some of my favorite lines from the movie have already showed up. The Muppets Christmas Carol is our annual Christmas Eve into Christmas Day movie watch. So we always start the movie well enough into the evening of Christmas Eve in order for it to end in Christmas Day. And so really looking forward to that watch, especially after opening all of the Advent, because by that time I should have already opened through day 24. And then I did purchase the option with the full skein. So I will have a full skein to open as well on Christmas Day. And so, yeah, just trying to, like I said, really lean into those holiday festive feels. And I think I'm off to a good start. So let me know down in the comments below what you've been up to this week. Have you gotten all your Christmas shopping done? Have you gotten all of your presents off to the post office? I would really, really love to know. Are you feeling in the festive spirit? What do you do to feel in the festive spirit? I'd love to know that as well. And if nothing else, and you'd just like to let me know that you are here, if you could leave me a Christmas tree emoji down in the comments below, that would be greatly appreciated and would really help me out. And that will do it for me today. So I hope you're all doing great. I hope you're all safe and healthy. And until next time, take care and smiling always. Bye.